Welcome, welcome, welcome. Giving people a moment to get here because I am actually early today. Good morning, good morning. I told my fellow pals I was going live at 7, but I just finished my coffee and I said I wanted to go ahead and do it while I'm still, up and very energetic after drinking my coffee. Also, know that I am speaking from the heart. I'm speaking from a testimonial perspective. I'm speaking from a spiritual perspective. But what we are going to talk about today on Monday Motivation can also be backed up by scientific evidence because here on Orchids for Dummies, we are working our way through depression and anxiety. Understanding that anxiety and depression correlates together. And, for us that don't want to be medicated, the way that we are going to overcome, medication is through Jesus Christ, but also through understanding the signs and symptoms to know thyself, if you will. So, I wanted to start it off and still giving people a little moment to get here, but just introducing myself. If you are new to this channel, I am Fal Pal Darrell. I initially started growing my beautiful orchids, dealing with depression, and now I want to each one teach one, just share what helped me overcome my depression through growing plants, but taking it a step further because we want to ultimately grow ourselves to the most beautiful version of ourselves that we can. Okay. So this is my beautiful Dendrobium Panama Red. She has her own fan base on Facebook in my Facebook group, Fal Pal. And you see, she's just purple all over for no reason. Her name is Panama Red, and she has basically been in bloom since I have had her. As you can see, the blooms that bloomed in the summertime are just now wilting away. But as she was growing those flower spikes, there was a new cane that was being produced as well. With this new cane being actually bigger than its predecessor, as you can see, it now has a beautiful flower spike. And I'm just so excited. Girl, even while she is fading, you can still see that she has the most glorious of blooms, especially for a dendrobium. This is my favorite dendrobium, and girl, she gives me life. So I just really wanted to start this video off on that, because this is Orchids for Dummies. I'm Fab Pal Real, and we are overcoming depression and anxiety by growing our plants. Last year, if you know me or if you don't, before coronavirus, we were talking about here on Orchids for Dummies, taking that love that we have for our plants and for our animals outdoors and giving it to other people. That was ultimately the goal. And I centered myself around the American Orchid Society, advocating for them, encouraging people to go out and be adventurous and learn from the American Orchid Society and, Fal Pals that is there in your community, and thinking of ways to make orchid shows. Okay, Orchids for Dummies was one of the first orchid channels to start featuring shows and featuring other YouTubers, because ultimately that's what my channel, that's what the message is: bringing people together, building strong families, and being mentally and spiritually aware. Okay, so with that being said, it's Thanksgiving. All of us are in a thankful spirit, and we are contemplating whether or not we are going to be around other people during this pandemic. Now, before the pandemic, take the pandemic away. You have the election. A lot of people don't want to sit there and argue with their family members about politics. So you got those two. And then just family circumstances, things in your family that has remained swept under the rug, if you will, and has been festering as a sore in your spirit, if you will. That is briefly what we are going to talk about today on Monday Motivation, because I want you guys, including myself, to be better people. Now, understand, mama did not go to school for this. So mama is speaking from the heart. And I do believe that we are survived on the testimony I'm thinking about testimonial, but we are survived by the testimonies of others. So I will not be ashamed and embarrassed to give you my personal life as a perspective of how you can grow as well. Now, going all the way back, because I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. I will not be with you long. My computer is about to die. Good morning, Foul Pal Daniel. Good morning. Good morning, Foul Pal Anna, the Swedish Water. Good morning. So, I am recently married, and I've been with my husband now for 4 incredible years, and we have a good thing going on. Now, before I was introduced or put in a position to be around his family for so long, my husband and I would, keep constant contact. We was just so physical, not to the point where it was vulgar, but that's just how we were expressing our love for the first couple of years of us being together. Now, after we were around his family, it was said that we are unable to do those type of things because it makes other people feel uncomfortable because our lifestyle. So that's how it all started. Now, me, myself, my mind does not work like that. I do believe it's a time and place for everything, but in my eyes, which is subjective only to me, I don't see anything wrong with, public displays of affection because I come from an affectionate family. So I'm not uncomfortable showing, seeing, or displaying affection. Now, I understand some people come from families that just to say, I love you is something foreign in your family. So ultimately, briefly, that's what we're talking about here on Orchids for Dummies. We want to know what is the difference between running away and avoidance, avoiding a situation that could be potentially bad. Okay, running away briefly, and I'm gonna get back to my husband's family. Running away would be, will my assumption of his family based on what was said is now I feel uncomfortable and I don't want to be in an uncomfortable environment versus I'm just going to respect the views of other people while I am in that space, and I would not be there for long because I want to get back home to where I can do the things that I would do if I was in a different environment. Another example would be, something that we have recently overcome. Let's say you are, and I'm not saying this is my life. I'm just saying, everybody should know a little bit about this. Not doing drugs. I don't know the terminology, but a recovering drug addict, a counselor, one of the first things they would tell the recovering addict is remove yourself from the environment and from the type of and the friends that you have until you are able and strong enough to resist the urge, the temptation of that of which you are avoiding, versus avoiding people based on how you feel based on what you think they think of you. So that's the difference. So to make it make sense, let's go back to my husband and I. So his family, after that was said, it was very awkward, and we had a lot of negative interactions. And his family is so big, his family is so important to him. I knew coming into the relationship, and it has been, seen throughout all of the other siblings who have now introduced new members in the family through marriage, that they have to be vetted, if you will. However, being in that situation for so long, I was able to see how I was treated differently from everyone else. Now, this is not based on what I feel or based on what I think they are thinking. This is based on evidence. For instance, to this day, everyone that walks into their family home is celebrated immediately with "woo, woo, woo, nigga!" And when I come through the door, it's like my husband is first, Reggie, Reggie, and then, hey, Darrell, hey, hey. And so, girl, this is a mistreatment. So, in that instance, if this is something that if you don't feel comfortable enough to stand up for yourself or to speak, nobody is going to speak up for you but you. Now, understand, I'm speaking from a testimonial perspective, but I'm also going to talk to you like mama. Okay, so if I get to screaming and yelling, I'm not screaming and yelling at you. I'm screaming and yelling so you can understand me. I'm screaming and yelling with conviction and passion behind me. So, okay, so and sometimes you have to test yourself, because sometimes us as people, we get the tendency to lie to ourselves and believe it. And I mean, I can only tell you what I have been through. And being around people that are not afraid to criticize you, whether it be good or bad, is essential. You have to have someone around you that actually knows you. And how this person will show themselves is, first of all, they will remember your name, your birthday. And when your birthday comes, they would reach out to you and say, hey, happy birthday. And they might give you a gift or a card or something. And this is someone that listens to you babble when you are needing somebody to fuss and complain with instead of prayer. Okay. So those people are essential, because we can lie to ourselves. We can do it. And it's so, I mean, I'm not judging. This is no judgment zone. Okay. It's a no judgment zone. So that's not what I'm doing. But I'm letting you know, when I got with my husband revealed some things to me that I thought was insidious to be referred to me. But then when I self-evaluated, when I look back over my life, the facts added up to his opinion of me. So his opinion of me was actually my truth that I had covered up through lies that I had told myself. Now, to sum this up, because I said I won't be here with you guys long. If you are trying to decide, because understand that this could be something that is completely, you're not self-aware of. You could, be someone that loves to stay working. You could be someone that longs for affection, longs for a more intimate relationship with, family members, even your spouses, because you can be in marriages where you don't have uncomfortable conversations because you don't know how to maintain yourself. Now, if you don't know how to maintain yourself, if you don't have self-control, that is what we're ultimately talking about here on Orchids for Dummies with therapy. And it doesn't always have to involve getting a therapist. You can do this work on yourself instead of worrying about what this person thinks of you, their opinion of you, their interactions. Oh, well, no, that's no. What it looks like, what it feels like. And, listen, I'm someone that is empathic. Okay. And so being introduced to, empathy in a spiritual way was something that was new to me. So until God was able to break it all the way down, I was like, okay, I can't do it. I can't. Ooh, ooh, oh, ooh. And that is real. That is real life stuff, because and that is scientific. For instance, you can be in a room with someone that is crying, and then all of a sudden you crying and you don't even know why. You got some empathy, spiritual abilities inside of you. Okay. So breaking it down real short and sweet, God said, for me, this for me, so it might be different for you, but God said those I need that because I'm able to heal people through that. Long story short, okay, because we keeping it short and sweet, and we could talk about these things at other times. But if those are your reasonings for not going to the family event because it's going to be a shit show, if you will, then okay, that is not the right reasons not to go. Because, I've been talking about here on Orchids for Dummies, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. My husband's family and I have ultimately graduated to this level, which is I have not seen or been around them all year. Yes, due to coronavirus. Yes, I am loving this break from them. However, this is not an excuse to run away from them, because remember, we're not going to be afraid of people. Okay, we're going to let our light shine. Okay, because we are members of the body of Christ, and all this evil stuff out here, people getting shot up, stabbed in the mall, and somebody got stabbed at the church while these people was trying to get escape from the cold in Texas. Evil is out here in these streets. So us people, that is good, we got to put on our big girl panties and we got to do the work. We got to do the work on ourselves, so we will not be afraid to go out and do the work. Remember, I was talking about going to your Orchid Society meetings. You can meet someone there that will be your lifetime friend. You don't know. You could meet someone there that could be your lover. You have to be able to put yourself in that situation. Instead of worrying about what people are feeling, ask yourself those. Hallelujah! Ask yourself those questions. How do I feel? Do I feel awkward? Do I feel intimidated? Do I feel inadequate? And then I'm sorry, my throat's so dry, honey. So after that, I'm sorry, my throat just so dry and I don't have anything to drink. So now that you're asking yourself those questions about, oh, I'm so sorry. 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 I didn't mean to point at you. Like I said, this is no judgment zone, but this is stuff that I had to go through and I've been going through for the past 4 years. If you look back on all my old videos, it's a long story, but I got on camera in a moo-moo. I mean, titty swagging. I mean, looking like a fool. I mean, I was not taking care of myself. I was taking care of everything and everyone around me, which only led me to feel depressed and anxious. So now that I'm doing the work on myself, I am going to be a better version. And what is happening around me is as a result, not from me dictating to my family members or, lording over them, if you will, but I am setting an example by putting work into myself, and they are seeing for themselves positive change in me, which as a result make them reflect on their self. And that is what is ultimately helping them to grow. And so that's the end game. So back to me. I'm sorry for pointing at you, but ask yourself, or let's ask ourselves, how do we feel? Why do we feel this way? Why do we feel uncomfortable? And then you have to keep putting yourself in those situations until you get to the root of that problem, because most often it will stem from, personal problems or personal experiences growing up as a child, things as a child that we have not succumbed and conquered yet. So that's why I say it's very important to do this work on yourself. Now, I'm not away from my husband's family this year because I'm afraid of them. It's simply due to the coronavirus. I have not been around my mother as well. When it comes to setting boundaries and, standing up for yourself, right now, my flesh and blood mother is on call block. She is on block on social media. And that's my personal life. That's my personal mama. So when it comes to anybody else, honey, mama is going to stand up for herself, because my grandma, that's who used to stand up for me. She's gone. She's not here with me anymore. So I had to put on those big girl panties, and I had to stand up for myself, because people are only going to treat you how you allow them to treat you. Now, if you are in a situation and somebody is you know out of order with you, and you are trying to let them know, hey, how you are talking to me, I'm not able to receive it. I am not feeling respected right now. I am not going to stand for this if you're unable to speak to me as an adult, as a respectful person. Then I am going to remove myself from this situation without losing self-control. That is the goal. That is the message of this Monday motivation. That's how you do it. Now, do I love my mama? Yes, God. But remember, I'm setting boundaries with my husband, everyone around me. No negativity zone. A no negativity zone does not necessarily mean that you're not able to bring me strong criticism. That simply means do not speak into existence negativity over my life. For instance, one of the last things that my mama said to me that had me so flabbergasted and ultimately led to her being blocked is, your uncle, he flipping out, he doing the same thing you be doing. Girl, it's been, girl, girl, do you know me? Girl, it's been 6 years since I had to take an antidepressant for 3 months just to get back on track. That was 6 years ago, honey. Mama been doing this by herself for a long time. Mama was depressed because you was only speaking negative things over my life. That's why I was depressed. And you're unable and unwilling to do the work on yourself to see that you are speaking negative over your children. You cannot say to your child, if you was a real man, you can't say that. You're my mama. So it goes to no ends. You set those boundaries around you, because you don't have to be in people's life, and people don't have to be in your life. You only get one mama. Yes, God. The Bible say, obey your mama. And this is not about my mama. This is just to show you what level I am speaking on. If you are in a toxic marriage, that's my cutoff. I will love a man or a woman to the end of the earth. But when you get to speaking negative things over my life, when you only got nothing but negative things to say about me? And don't get me wrong, us as women, don't get me wrong. I, especially being locked up with your spouse and your children, you see all of the negative stuff that they do. Instead of complaining to them about all of the negative stuff that you see them do, hush your mouth, because we don't want to be that woman. We don't want to have the lips of a strange woman. Proverbs chapter 5. I wish you was there for Bible study, but we don't want to be her. We want to be a Proverbs 31 woman, only speaking positive things. Okay, so what we would do is show. We would lead by example, not even having to show them. This is how you clean up behind yourself, because I'm going to do the overtime work. Now, sometimes people will push you to the limits, and then that's when you have to cut the boundaries and you have to speak those things. Look, I wish you would do things like this because it would make me feel better. Or, you have to communicate what you are feeling. You can't lead a conversation based off what you thinking they feeling. If you finding yourself overthinking and stuttering and stuff, take a deep breath. Calm down. You're talking to another human being. That human being is a human being just like you, no matter what they got behind their name, in front of their name. It's a human being that's going through the same things that you are going through. So stand your ground, okay? Walk in humility. Don't let people take advantage of you. And don't run away from situations, because that will ultimately lead to anxiety, because then you will be at home like, oh Lord, I wonder what they talking about. Oh, I bet you they talking about me, and oh, I'm just lonely, and all of that stuff can be, girl, attack it. Attack it. Don't run from it, attack it. Because what will happen is you will end up being a 60-year-old woman stuck at home with nothing but plants and cats, with nobody to come to your funeral, nobody to plan your funeral, nobody to be at your deathbed, because you have avoided love. Be love, do love. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? Make this world a better place if you can. Something like that. But I love you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope that you have a blessed and prosperous week. Please stay safe out there. If do the best that you can, do the best that you can, do the best that you can. Stay safe. I love you guys, and do something nice for someone that you don't even like. That's when you mature. Okay, do something for somebody you don't even like. Pray for those that spitefully use you. Pray for them. Some of us don't even pray for our mom and our daddy. Some of us don't even pray for our husband. And so we know we're not praying for those that do us wrong. Those are the main ones that we should be praying for, the ones that do us wrong. Because if they knew the God that you know, then they wouldn't do it. So pray for them if you believe in your God. Okay. Love you guys. Until next time. Until next time, boo boo.